I'm Malcolm, your PTE coach, and I have with me Gaurang today. Sir, how are you today?
I'm fine, Malcolm. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for being here. So Gaurang, what are we going to cover today in our PTE Interactive Live series? And I think we are in our session 11 today.
Yes, we are in session 11 and the 11th task of the PTE exam. Well, not really 11th, but the task is again from the reading section, and the task is reorder paragraphs.
Right.
Reorder paragraphs is possibly the most important task in the reading section.
Right.
It is a pure reading task. No other sections get scores out of this.
All right, that's a pure independent.
A pure independent reading task. Malcolm, how many questions do we usually get in this task?
Well, generally we have 2 to 4 questions, and per question we have roughly 4 to 5 paragraphs each.
You mean to say 4 to 5 sentences
That's
each?
Right. That's
right. Okay. And what is the importance of this task? I already said that it is very important, but if we talk about in terms of weightage,
Right.
what is the weightage of this task to the reading section?
It's a very high weightage task, I would say. I mean, points-wise, it's not that much, but the weightage-wise, it's pretty high.
Right.
So generally, the scoring is what one needs to understand in this task. So what PT says about this task is that you do not get any points for the positioning,
Right.
but you just get points for the pairing.
Okay.
So the word PT writes, the sentence it writes in the instruction is that you get 1 point for every correct adjacent pair.
Okay. So let us say, and let's take an example here. The pairs are, the entire passage is A, B, C, D, and E.
Right.
5 sentences.
Right.
So what would be the scoring like? A and B is 1.
That's right.
Then
B and
is
C.
it B and C or C and D?
So for each there is 1. So for example, if the correct answer is, let's say, A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
And my answer is also A, B, C, D, E.
Okay.
So I get 1 point for A, B, 1 point for B, C, 1 point for C, D, and 1 point for D, E.
Okay. Now what if I were to do A, C, D, E, B?
A, C, D, E, B means the pair C, D is right.
Right.
And the pair D, E is also right.
Okay.
So basically you get 2 out of 4 points.
Okay. So it does not matter whether the pair is in the right place. As long
No,
as
it
it's a
doesn't.
pair,
It
you get
doesn't.
marks for it.
It doesn't.
That's
right.
interesting. That's a totally different way of scoring
That's right.
compared to the other tasks
Right.
throughout the exam.
Right.
Okay.
So the basic thing is that many times people, they want to start in a particular way, but whatever you do, if you waste a lot of time, you will waste a lot of time, obviously.
Right.
And mainly just focus on the pairing.
Okay.
Positioning, automatically it will try to fit on its own, but
Okay.
anyways it doesn't help much. That's what we are trying to say.
And considering that we get 2 to 4 of these kind of tasks,
Yes.
this particular type of task,
Right.
what is the average time that we should be spending on each task?
Right. Around 2 minutes, roughly.
Okay.
So plus minus anything. But sometimes it's not that easy that you can immediately do it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So maybe maximum 2.5 minutes. So you'll have to manage your time maybe with your multiple choice questions and with your blanks so that you get sufficient time in this task.
Okay. And you said it's not that easy to spot sometimes.
Sometimes it depends, yes, of course.
So what would be the best method to go about it?
Method is obviously you very quickly scan it first and skim through the passage as well. And maybe try to find out for some sort of a standalone statement maybe.
Okay.
Right. And once you get the standalone statement, maybe then look out for the connectors as well, connecting pairs. Maybe look out for a few repeated words as well in the passage.
Okay.
Also look out for dates because of the chronology.
Okay.
But sometimes, like, people have this concept in mind that because it is reorder paragraphs, it has to go like let's say 1 has to come before 2. For example, the date 1st of January has to come before 1st of February.
Right.
So I don't think that is true.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it can be that they
Reverse,
use a reference from
Yes.
the present date.
To
So
the
they might
past.
say there is an incident that has happened just now,
Right.
and then link it to something in the past.
That's true.
And then it might follow a
Then it might
chronological
follow.
order.
That's right.
Yes, that is true. But how many times would this happen? So if we are getting 4 questions out of that,
Right.
so let's say all 4 questions have chronological order.
History related, yes.
History
Timeline,
related.
yes.
So what?
Very
one,
rare, yes.
One
maybe
out of
one,
2,
maybe one. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So just to take put it into a better perspective, ideally we should look for an independent statement, something that is called a statement of fact kind of a thing first.
Right, that's right.
then look for the next one, which is connecting to that statement, some kind of connecting words or some kind of connecting ideas, or maybe
That's
an
right.
explanatory statement.
That's right.
And that explanatory statement will also give the opening for the third one.
That's right.
And then look for the last two ones which are connecting to the overall thing.
That's right.
Would there usually be a conclusion kind of a statement?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Sometimes it's an implied conclusion.
Okay.
But if you're lucky, you will have something like a sentence starts with overall, ultimately, hence, thus.
Okay.
Such words can, of course, you need luck for such sentences.
Okay. And what are the chances that such kind of statement might not actually be the last one, but the second last one?
Yes, can be. Sometimes there are sentences, which start with words like moreover or furthermore, such words. So high chances, I would say high chances.
Okay.
Maybe it is just a trap, a decoy, and it is not the last one.
Okay. So, students, this is something that you really need to understand. Reorder paragraph can actually be a very tricky task type. You have to be smart to attempt this task. And as Malcolm said, focus on getting your pairs right first rather than doing the full thing first.
Right.
Once you have the pairs right, then you can think about whether you got them in the right position and try and move things around. Maybe just moving one up or down could get you the right order.
So basically first go for the small pairs, then with the block, maybe, put it somewhere, and then that last sentence, see where it fits, maybe in between or in the end.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Malcolm, where does this question usually come in the exam? Is it at the start of reading, in the middle of reading?
So generally it is in the middle, but as we know, reading is completely dynamic and come anywhere. Like few days back, one of my students, she told me that reading started with reorder. Very rarely it happens, but we never know. It can.
And if it starts with reorder paragraph, it can really blow the fuse.
So it's there to twist your mind sometimes,
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Malcolm, do we have any examples that we can share with our viewers?
Definitely. We have an example ready with us. So yes, if you can just get the example on the screen, please.
Okay, so we have the example over here, and this is how the passage reads, the sentences read. The first one says, more organizations today seek a transformation in their businesses, yet most of them think of and talk about managing change. Second is, change is characterized by reactivity. Most of us live in the domain of change, both as individuals and as organizations. 3. The characteristics of transformation are positive and actually creative. They stem from a newfound sense of purposefulness once a higher purpose is discovered. 4. The implications of this conflict will not be fully appreciated until we learn to distinguish between change and transformation. And 5. Clearly, we all aspire to live in the domain of transformation, even if we presently are in the domain of change.
Right.
That's an interesting one.
Right.
Lots of talks of change and transformation.
Right. So now, the easy one, another method is also you can, eliminate using connectors. For example, the fourth one.
Okay.
Now it starts with like the implications of this conflict. Now obviously this conflict, so we don't know which conflict, so it cannot start it.
So there has got to be a conflict
There
that
has to be
shown
right.
first.
That's right.
Now, if we look at the sentences, there are two sentences that kind of show a conflict.
Right.
The first is the fifth one. Clearly, we aspire to live in the domain of transformation, even if we are presently in the domain of change.
Right.
So there they are showing a kind of conflict.
Right.
And the other one is saying more organizations today seek a transformation in their business, yet most of them think of and talk about managing change.
Right.
So these are the two sentences where we have some kind of a conflict.
That's right.
Now, Malcolm, which of these two would actually be the precursor, the one that comes before number 4, where they have talked about conflict?
Right. It more likely seems to be the first one because it's also like a general opening statement. It's giving you the passage. It's starting the whole talk.
Right.
Like more organizations today seek a transformation in the business, yet most of them think of and talk about managing change. So it's a prominent, inherent.
Yes, and it's a statement. If you look
it's
at it, it's a statement about the business world in general.
Right, that's right.
On the other hand, if you look at the last statement, clearly we all aspire to live in the domain. It sounds like a conclusion rather than
in continuity. It's not a starting point. That's
yes,
right.
it's not a starting point. So obviously, number 1 comes before number 4.
Right. The implications of this conflict will not fully be appreciated until we learn to distinguish between change and transformation.
So we are talking about one. Do we have anything like that?
Could be, but doesn't seem like, because second one starts talking about change,
Right.
but before there, in the fourth one, what that changes has been introduced.
Yes.
The word change has come for the first time.
Yes. So if we look at it that way also, learn to distinguish between change and transformation.
Right.
It is saying, the fourth sentence is saying.
Right.
And then the second one is giving an explanation about change.
Right.
Whereas the third one is talking about the characteristics of transformation.
Right.
Right. Now, if we were to just read number 4, it is saying change and transformation.
Right.
So change is first. So obviously, whatever comes after 4 has to start and say something about change.
That's right. It will have to start from where the previous one ended.
Exactly. So that means number 2 comes after 4.
Right. That's right.
And then the next one is transformation. So that comes after 2.
Right.
So the sequence that we are getting so far is 1, 4, 2, 3. We have got 2 pairs, or rather 3 pairs, 1 and 4, 4 and 2, 2 and 3.
That's right.
And whatever is left, number 5, is obviously number 5.
Yes. In this instance, because it ends like clearly we all aspire to live in the domain of transformation, even if we presently are in the domain of change.
Right.
So it's like an encapsulation of all that is before.
What has been discussed above.
Right.
So the correct order here is 1, 4, 2, 3, 5.
That's right.
That's the right order.
Right.
Well, that's an interesting one. It was slightly confusing if you look
That's
at
right.
it. Number 1 and number 5 were confusing.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But if you look at it in this fashion, and if you think about it logically like this, the correct sequence will become obvious.
Right. So thank you.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
done. Yes, thank
So this is how reorder paragraph should be done.
Right.
While we have taken a slightly longer time to discuss this because we were discussing it, but reorder paragraph, if you look at it in this logic, you should be able to do it in less than 2 minutes.
Right. And I would also like to add that never be in a hurry in reorder paragraphs, because one small mistake is will generally not cost you 1 point. At least 2 pairs
Yes.
will be mismatched.
Yes.
That is a problem.
And here your focus should be on getting as many pairs accurate as you
that's
can,
right. That's
because
right.
that is where you will score.
That's
Don't
right.
focus first on getting the full reorder paragraph correct.
That's right.
Because even if you're getting 2 or maybe 3 pairs accurately, 3 pairs accurately means you've got almost the entire reorder correct,
That's right.
which means you will get full marks for it.
That's right. So yes, I think the main thing is that we should just not hurry. Take your time, form the pairs, and then put the blocks. Arrange them using your common sense and logic.
This is I don't think there's that much of grammar really involved in this. It's
That's
more
true.
about an understanding of what the passage is saying,
Yes.
looking at the connections, and applying your logic for the flow of that passage.
That's right. Link formation is the main thing in this
Yes.
task.
So don't really think about grammar. There will, of course, occasionally be grammar that will show you the connections.
Right.
But the main focus has to be on the logic that you have to apply to get the sequence right.
Right.
And once
that's
you have that, don't waste too much of time. Click next, move on.
Right. Because sometimes people also waste a lot of time in over-analyzing, overthinking what is done.
Yes.
So depends. Generally, it doesn't help.
Also, in the exam, remember this, that on the screen in front of you, you will have the first view, the sentences will be given on your left, and you have to move them to a box on the right in the right sequence. Now, you can just drag and drop them over there, or there are arrow marks given in between. You click on the arrows and they will come around once you select the passage on the left.
Right.
Then if you want to reorder, don't drag them back. You do have up and down arrows available on the right of the right box.
That's right.
Just select the one that you want to change its location and then move it up or down. This will save you time, because dragging back and forth is
again,
something that will
wasted.
cost you more time.
That's right.
Right? So be intelligent about this, and you can really do this quickly and get proper marks out of it.
That's right. So,
Malcolm, anything else that goes into this?
no, I don't think we have covered most of the things. So mainly it's about practice, because it's not a difficult task. But what the problem is that it's also easy to make a mistake in this task sometimes.
Yes, it's not a difficult task,
Yes.
but it is definitely a task that is easy to get confused with.
Right, that's right.
Okay, we have a question from Nida again. Well, Nida, welcome. We are happy to have you back online with us. In exam, we get more than 5 lines. We get a bit confused in arranging it, how to deal with those sentences. Well, we have been discussing that. Thank you for the question. Whether it's 4 or 5, it should not confuse you as long as you are following the strategy that we just described. First, look for the independent statement or the statement that is a statement of fact. Second is look for an explanation of that or a connector to that, something that is providing more clarity on that statement. Then look for the third statement, which will either flow from the second one or introduce an idea that is linked to the second and the first statement.
Right.
Then look for a further explanation for the fourth statement, and then the conclusion will be the fifth one. This is the sequence you should follow. Or if it's a chronological order, normally look for the earliest date, then follow it by the second subsequent one, then the third one, then the fourth one, and then the latest one, the newest date.
Right.
These are the options. One good pointer is also that you should look for the proper noun. If there is an introduction to a person, talking about that person's birth or anything like that, then that proper noun will usually be the starting sentence.
That's right.
And everything else follows from that. Right? So these are the ways in which you can attempt this accurately.
And I think you can also sometimes get even more than 5. It depends. You can get 6 as well. So Nida, you can just go to pttutorials.com. There are few questions, couple of those with 6 sentences as well.
Right.
So it will definitely be of help to you.
And remember this, if you've got 6 sentences, that's your chance to actually get more marks because each pair is a mark.
Right.
So try and get all your pairs correct and you will actually score more marks if you've got 6, if you've got 5. 4 is easier, but it also means less marks.
Right, that's right. And sometimes it can also happen that 4 is a bit tricky as well. Depends.
Yes.
The words and the structure can be a bit tricky. 6 can be super easy, 4 can be difficult, you never know.
Right. And if it's 6, then the sentences will be shorter.
Yes, that's right.
If it's 4, the sentences will be longer.
That's right, that's right.
Right. So depends on how you look at it. If you're positive about everything, you will find it quite easy.
Right. Main thing is practice. The more you practice, the more your mind, attunes to how to solve this question.
Yes. And the task is reading. So reading and practice. These are the 2 things that will help you understand the logic behind how sentences and paragraphs are structured, and then you can accordingly consider your answers and get your results.
That's right. I think we have covered almost everything.
Yes. Because it's not that complex a task if you look at it.
Just involves practice.
Yes, it just involves practice and just following the basic rules.
Yes, that's right.
That's it.
And friends, I'd also like to share that even today morning we have got one more score of a perfect 90. So basically we have got 5 scores of 90 each in the month of February, which is an excellent thing, and I don't think I need to add it up.
For a short month, that is exceptional.
Exceptional. We really doubt if there's any other coaching institute. There could be scores of 90s, but 90 each, 5 scores, really I think it will be difficult to match up with that.
It's unheard of, right? So we are going great guns.
Yes, even in January we had 5 scores of 90 each. In February we have at least not gone down. We have got still 5 more scores of 90 each. So 10 scores of 90 each in 2 months. Excellent, I would say. That's really a good thing.
And February is usually considered that month when the least number of people take the exam.
That's true. It's a slack period.
It's a slack period.
That's true.
Okay, what about the masterclass?
Definitely, Gaurang. On this Saturday, that is 3rd of March, we have the masterclass up again in Melbourne CBD. It will start at 11 a.m. and go until 5:30. So if you have not registered for that, kindly go to ptetutorials.com and under coaching you will see the Melbourne masterclass. It will not take you more than 10 seconds to register for that. So you still have slots left for it. So please go to ptetutorials.com and book your slot for this Saturday, 3rd of March.
Okay, Malcolm, and what's our next task for next week?
Yes, next week we are left with one more task in the reading module, which is fill in the blanks, drop down blanks.
The reading and writing, fill in the blanks.
Reading and writing, again an
integrated task. Yes, a very high weightage task.
High weightage, cannot afford to mess it up. I think it's a very high weightage task for the writing score.
Yes, especially for your writing scores. If you miss this, you are most likely going to miss out on your vocabulary,
79 as well.
on your spellings, as well as your grammar and the overall writing score.
Writing as well. Writing, high
Yes.
chances you'll fall below 79.
Right. So, stay tuned with us. Get online with us next week on Thursday when we discuss the reading drop-down fill in the blanks. Till then, keep practicing. Stay tuned to PTE tutorials and keep getting your scores. All the best to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.